Minneapolis, Minnesota is where David awaits. David, how can we help?
Hey, Ken and Rachel. Thanks for taking my call. So calling for kind of how to have a financial conversation with your significant other. So my girlfriend and I have been seeing each other since the beginning of the year. I've been dating most of that time. And I understand that finances are one of those big ticket items that we definitely need to be on the same page before I put a ring on it. Ha ha ha. We had one a few months ago, and we shared a few things, specifically our overall debt number. And I could tell that she was very uneasy and uncomfortable and probably felt some shame. And so we were dealing with a lot of other things. So I'm like, hey, let's put this conversation on the shelf and we'll address it later. And we've been fine since then with regarding that. And just would like to hear your thoughts on how to have that conversation, how to enter in that conversation, how to have boundaries. Do we need a third party to help mediate that conversation?
How serious is this gal for you?
Pretty darn.
Mm-hmm. Are you guys even talking about marriage?
So, not yet. But that's because she is we have agreed not to do any progression forward, because she is in her first year of residency, and that's a very taxing year. And I'm on the idea of engagement should be 3 to 6 months, and we're not even near that.
All right.
Like that time frame, time scheduling frame.
I don't know what Rachel's going to say, but that's what makes this show fun. I think that I would be talking to her about general thoughts about money. Like, what do you think about debt? Last time you kind of talked about, here's how much debt I have, and then she told you how much she had, and you felt like she was shameful about it and all that kind of stuff. But that's not talking about philosophies. And this is really about philosophical thoughts about money, which is simply, what do you believe about money? What do you value? What do you care about? I don't want to have debt. I would like to pay off all my debt. Once I pay it off in my marriage, I don't want us to do that. I mean, you don't have to talk about marriage per se, but just talking about your views and thoughts about money. And I'd start there. Hey, I'm just curious. What do you think about this? This is what I think about money. This is what I believe about money. Does that hit you the wrong way? What do you think? I'd make it all about you so you don't put her on the defensive, and then you're going to lay out your values on money, and I would see how she reacts to that. Is she just asking legitimate, inquisitive type, I'm just getting to the bottom of what you believe, or does she have some sort of problem with it? But Rachel, I'd kind of stay there. It seems that where they're at in their relationship, I wouldn't go much deeper than just putting your values out and seeing how she reacts to it.
Yeah, because regardless of her number of how much debt she has, if she's in residency and she took out medical bills, it's probably medical debt, medical student loans to go to medical school. Yeah. Then it's probably going to be a lot. But regardless of the number, that's not a reason not to marry someone. But different value systems, that's your red flag. And that's what Ken is saying. And I think that's what's wise is to have these overall. But you guys, how old are you guys?
So I'm 34 and she's 39 or 29.
Okay. So y'all are, at the age, you're not like 18 and 19 where it's like the word marriage could scare us. You guys are at the point as adults that if you're dating for a significant period of time, I guess in my head, it's eventually going to go somewhere.
Well,
so
now, what do you think about, this is what I wanted to know, because the female opinion versus the male opinion. Do you sense anything where she said, let's just not advance the relationship until I get through year one? I had a little red flag, but that's coming from a dude's perspective. That's why I'm putting that out there. Do you see a red flag?
I know that it is a taxing
It is,
thing,
without question.
But I think that there's a lot of things in life that are very taxing, and I would want to do it with Winston as my husband.
Okay. So I would like him to have this conversation. I want your opinion on this. I'd like him to have this conversation about money sooner rather than later.
Yeah, and I would say it's one of those conversations along with other conversations of values. So yeah, having the values conversation around money. Hey, what I see in my life in the next 3 years is being married, and when it comes to money, I want to be able to have no debt, pay it off. If my future spouse, you're my long-term girlfriend, so it's probably going to be you. Paying off debt, living debt-free, being intentional with our money, having goals. All of that is a value of yours, David. And then, kids, there's another big conversation around kids, in-laws, sex. I mean, these are big life conversations that you have to have before marriage, and money, yes, is one of them. And at the top of the list, like you said, David, because it does cause a lot of tension. So making sure that you guys have the same values. But also, David, can I say this? I don't know you.
Oh, I'm very excited.
But I kind of think you just need to kind of just relax a little bit.
Oh, I do too. 10 months.
You said,
10 months
and
they've
you
been
said
dating.
it's a 3 to 6 month window of engagement. I was like, why?
Yeah.
What in a crazy world, David, would you just say, let's go to the courthouse? We've been dating a month. Or we've been dating a year. And let's just go, right?
I do think you've got things in a box, and I can tell you that life rarely fits neatly into the box. I could not agree with you more.
Did we hurt your feelings, David? What do you think?
So the window of engagement that's how long I think engagement should be. 3 months if 3 months I think is on the shorter end of engagement. 6 months is longer, asterisk, circumstances. 7 months. So I know
I'd talk to her about that while we're at it. I'd add that one to the list.
Yeah. And I'm fine waiting, but I'm fine waiting. What's another 6 months or so? And I know that she doesn't have a whole lot of bandwidth because of residency is very, very taxing.
Yeah, and she may not want to plan a wedding and all of that. So I get that.
Yes, 100%.
And I want to take as many things off her plate and not necessarily put more things on her plate, like these more in-depth conversations.
No, that's a cop-out. I'm going to tell you that right now. That is not putting more on her plate. You need to figure out, you're very serious about this, and I get it. I love a man with a plan. I love a man with an opinion. But you need to find out if you guys are on the same page. And sooner rather than later. She's not too busy that she can't have the conversation that Rachel suggested.
Well, yeah, and because these conversations too, David, they bring a level of depth to your relationship. You get to, know her on a deeper level. And so that's not adding more to her plate. That's actually like loving her really well and wanting to know more of who she is and that. So to me, that's a relationship. That's not that's not adding more to her plate. That's being a significant other, in my opinion.
I got a bad feeling.
Oh no, kid!
I really do. This is not a relationship show, but I'd love to have one. Because if it was, I would say, my friend, we need to have this conversation and everything else pretty darn soon. Feels like you may be getting the Heisman Trophy stance coming at you a little bit, and she's blaming the school and it's a lot.
Okay, or David's gone on really tough, and he's like, "Tell me how much debt you have," and she's like, "Whoa."
I didn't get you. You're making my point. Thank you.
Yeah.
He could be a little too intense. Maybe she needs to breathe a little bit.
That's right. So
with your 3 to 6 month engagement rule, it's maybe too much for her. I don't know. It's interesting stuff. Have the conversation sooner rather than later.
All of them, David.
Yeah.
Embrace it.